Energy is a hugely important issue for the UK. Price, security and supply, and our manufacturing base is going to help rebalance trade, and is vitally important. We want to know what manufacturers want and see as the future for energy.
The cost of energy is one of our most expensive resources, and any upward trend in the cost of that could potentially have a direct influence on our cost per litre, and obviously that would have a negative impact on our competitiveness in the marketplace. So it's of paramount importance to us to make sure that we get the best supplies, we have security of supplies, and that we need to not just rely on outside sources, that we need to do all we can internally to ensure that we make the best use of those supplies as well, and that we're using them in an effective manner.
Greater Manchester has very stringent targets for both reducing our carbon but also supporting economic growth within the city region. So what we're trying to do is a few things. One is to encourage the low carbon sector within Greater Manchester to grow by creating a market for them, by investing in infrastructure and investing in our low carbon buildings. Two is to work with businesses to reduce their demand and therefore their cost on energy, and also encourage them to deploy low carbon technologies for energy generation where we can, and work directly and support households to reduce their energy bills by insulating their homes.
Yes, Electricity North West are responsible for transporting electricity through their cables to industrial and commercial and domestic customers in their own properties. Ofgem and the government have the responsibility for creating commercial and regulatory frameworks to encourage investment in new generation plant in this country. Historically, the electricity network was designed for one-way flow of electricity. We have seen a number of electrical connections of distributed electricity to the network over the recent years, and we expect to see much more. This does change the way that the network operates, and we're investing innovation funding to explore how we can find new solutions that offer efficient and effective ways of connecting sustainably produced electricity to the network.
Most companies, particularly manufacturers, are struggling with energy prices at the moment, but the reality is that through very simple, cost-effective measures they can make serious reductions to those costs. Savings of 30 and 40% are quite easily achievable with a payback period of less than 2 years. If companies increase that payback period to 4 or 5 years, then they can really start to make inroads into those costs and gain competitive advantage.
On a large generation scale, I'd say they definitely will. Advancements in turbine technology and thinking in the hydrogen economy, such as gasification, will be a bit of a game changer, hopefully, in terms of energy production. However, I still feel on a kind of a short to medium term scale, existing technologies in the industrial horizon here and now can make a massive difference in the areas of motor management, drivetrain technology, compressed air, all areas where energy efficiency are required.
Underneath the ground here in Lancashire is a world-class shale gas resource. That resource has a potential to have a great impact for the UK on jobs, energy security, and balance of payments. Now, Quadrilla is still in the exploration stages of this project. We're trying to determine if this project is commercial, given the technical and the cost uncertainties. When we finally get into the production stage, and if we get into the production stage, that's when we think we can have a real impact on the supply chain. We aim to supply as many of our skills, our staff, our equipment here locally.
Well, Westinghouse UK's contribution to energy production in the UK is significant because we we supply the fuel that generates 15% of the UK's electricity through our Springfields plant. From a supply chain perspective, if we were able to realise our ambition to use AP1000 technology within the UK, we would be able to secure some long-term advanced manufacturing jobs in the area, following our philosophy of we will buy where we build.
What we've done over the past is actually invest in people, invest in infrastructure, to actually develop a market strategy to take to the marketplace so that we can actually build more biogas and biomass plants. The defining factor of that is quite simply, is that we've got the expertise in Lancashire to do a whole plethora of everything that you need to do. We've got aerospace backgrounds, we've got technical expertise and specialist knowledge. We can harness that and move that forward. From a personal company point of view, that is dead simple. All we need to do is actually get the government support to move that forward, because we've had a good conference today about the things of like security, supply, cost. That's got to be governed by government to say this is what we're going to do. Once those gates, we are in a position to actually develop and furnish that market with exactly what it wants, because we've already identified it. We're probably overstaffed, we've probably got too bigger overhead, but it's pure and simply to move everything forward. Would we head up the supply chain? Yes, we would, given the opportunity. However, the problem is with that, you're probably looking at far larger companies, EPC contractors that would have to get involved.
In employment ambitions, yes. In energy infrastructure, I still have a question mark. The people that have spoken today have been at quite a high level, and I feel like we're bringing the reality to the party with being quite an SME in the area and employing around 130 people. So our ambition to grow and double in the next couple of years will be okay, it will be successful, but will the power be there for the future? And that's a major question that I still have and I need answering.
Energy is a long-term subject. It's important that the manufacturing sector keeps a collective voice and makes its needs clearly felt. So we're creating a platform for people to be able to talk electronically, and it'll be exclusive to manufacturers. We had 60 or 70 here today, and that will form the nucleus of an army that's going to move forward and make it very clear to government, to local bodies, MPs, and indeed to the supply chain what it wants, when it wants it, and to be competitive with the rest of the world.